River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Niner Nuts. I'm Dan here along with James and Eric. Guys, say hello.
What's up, everybody?
Yo, Niners Nation!
If you couldn't tell, we are in a very good mood, and Eric's voice is cracked because it is Victory Monday. Ooh, just barely Victory Monday. If you all happen to have seen, which I'm sure all of you have, we beat the Packers for the 5th time in a row in the playoffs. This time 24-21, because God forbid we actually just kicked the crap out of them, except that one time in 2019. In the nerdy number department, wasn't the greatest game from Brock Purdy. Sub 100 rating, but 252 yards and 1 touchdown, and only took 1 sack. Christian McCaffrey really shined once again. What else is new? Over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, both rushing. Kittle actually led us with 81 yards and a touchdown. And then Juwan Jennings, boy, stepped up to the moment. 5 catches for 61 yards, scoreless. But having to be the number 2 receiver, really number 1 with the way Brandon was blanketed. God, game ball to you, dude. And then on the other side, Jordan Love, his rating was actually lower, believe it or not, because of his 2 picks. Not surprised. But yeah, we didn't give up 200 passing yards, only 194, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Aaron Jones kind of ran over us, though. He was the first 100-yard rusher that we gave up. Individual rusher, I should say, not team rushing. And then Romeo Doubs really continued his streak as their number 1 with 83 scoreless yards. The touchdowns went to Kraft, their tight end, and whoever B. Melton is. I don't know his first name. Anyway, all that nerdy number stuff out of the way, like I like to start. And, oh, man. It was, man, that was a really hard game to sit through. And I would be lying if I didn't think we blew it more than once, maybe upwards of 5 times. I really thought, oh, that's the nail in our coffin. But I've seen a couple hot takes that were like, oh, the Niners look shaky. Oh, the Lions, they have all the, we'll talk more about the Lions in tomorrow's episode. But I don't know. I didn't see chinks in our armor quite the same way as I've noticed other people have talked about. What I saw in the way I don't know, call it hyping myself up because we made it. But I like the way Kyle Shanahan put it. This was a character game. And this was a game where so many things didn't go right. And just off the top of my head, it was raining. We gave up 100 yards to Aaron Jones, an individual. We had that disaster of a kick return that was immediately a score on the next play. Every drive seemingly from the Packers was like 10 or plus plays. We couldn't get off the field on defense. We lost Deebo Samuel very early in the first quarter, kind of like the Cleveland game, which we lost. We had a blocked kick. Again, it was raining, and we were behind in the fourth quarter, entering the fourth quarter, which up to this point, we were 0-30 in games like that because Kyle can't play from behind in the fourth quarter. And despite all of that happening, earmuffs, God damn it, Brock Purdy put on his big boy pants and led us all the way to the 6-yard line where Christian punched it in, and then Dre Greenlaw, the other game ball recipient, or the other player I think deserves a game ball, got his second pick from admittedly a terrible pass from Jordan Love. I don't know why he threw across his body into triple coverage, but we capitalized on it and we managed to escape. And goddamn, if that doesn't motivate us to, if that doesn't give us a little bit of motivation to think that in the face of that much adversity and we still came out of it, how we can't be competitive against the Lions and finally get over the hump to get to the Super Bowl, I that would be a real shame. Like, it was not a perfect game, and I don't think we will win if we play this badly again. I don't want to take that gamble. But, I don't know. I think this was, I like to think that this was a game that added a lot of character, added a lot of hair to our chest, and I think could potentially be a good motivation for us to play the Lions. It's not going to be any easier, except Brandon Ayuk will have a much worse corner to go against, but versus Jair Alexander. But yeah, no, it was not a perfect game, and there was a deep sigh of relief I had instead of like outright celebration. But we live to fight another day, and that it doesn't make me any less excited. I'm pumped to play the Lions on Sunday. So what do you guys think? No, I'm done with my little rant.
Well, it was close, but it didn't have to be. That's the thing. Like, Greg Olson was talking about how the 49ers wanted to control that crucial 4 minutes between halves, the 2 minutes, 2 minutes before the half, and then 2 minutes, after the second half.
Yeah,
And
that didn't really work out.
And Kyle, being Kyle, really screwed it up. Like, just really screwed it up. Like, does he not know why you defer the kick to the second half? Like, you don't play for a field goal in the first half with 2 minutes left to go. You play for a touchdown. Like, and that we saw what happened. A shaky kicker, rain, all of that led to a missed field goal. If he plays for the touchdown,
let's be fair, it was blocked.
Well, it was blocked, but that's the thing. Like, in rain, Moody has been shaky recently, and you're playing for a field goal to go up 4 points
against a team that wanted. That's the thing that the Packers have been ballsy with. The Packers always want the ball. They do it the opposite way. So they gave us what we wanted. And then, yeah, I agree. That was a very bizarre way to control the last 4 minutes of the half.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to it in the next episode, but for me, Kyle is very much like his father when he coaches, that he coaches not to win, but not he doesn't coach to win, he coaches not to lose. And in today's NFL, that doesn't really work anymore. And so that
it made him look terrified. It made him look terrified to me.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, the way the NFL is nowadays, it's put up touchdowns. It's touchdown. It's like you're going from a 1 point lead to a 4 point lead. It makes no sense. You have 7 points. You got plenty of time here in the second half. You got the ball with under 2 minutes to go. That's what you wanted, and you wanted that just so you could kick a field goal. Like, that's dumb. It's really, really dumb.
Eric, what was your take on the game? And I guess follow up on that too.
Well, I mean, oh, geez, my voice. I waited all that time to sound like a teenage boy. My voice is still just shot from Saturday.
That was like the kid from The Simpsons.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree with James. We were texting on the group chat when all that was happening, and I was just like, I don't understand what's going on. Like, I don't understand the clock management of that game and what was going on at the half. It doesn't make any sense to me, but I've kind of given up on Kyle in the 2 minute drill. I mean, he just doesn't know what he's doing, and that just is what it is, and we just have to live with it. I thought it was an interesting game from a defensive perspective. I think, they scored the 21 points, but they did it in a couple of ways that, really it made the defense seem like they played worse than they really did. I mean, they came down, a couple opening drives. The defense held them to field goals. Excuse me. So that was really big early on. They obviously got that big kick return, which set them up for a fairly easy touchdown. And then they got one of their other touchdowns off of the safety slipping and falling and not being able to follow the receiver. So, I mean, there was a couple of things there. I mean, I don't think that the defense played as bad as the game sort of seemed. It did feel like the Packers were sort of moving the ball at will up and down the field, especially in the first half. In the second half, things did change around and they didn't move the ball nearly as well. But I don't think that the defense played as bad as it seemed, which was a good spot. The front four was atrocious, though. Unfortunately, we generated no pressure on Love the entire time. We apparently just thought we were better than them and just lined up our front four and said, "Go get him," and we didn't get to him at all. And if we can't sack the quarterback, that really exposes our back end. Hello, Thomas, to being very vulnerable. And we're going to have to do a much better job of that going forward. If we're going to continue to keep winning, we're going to have to get to the quarterback and sack them. I don't know. I mean, I think offensively, I don't ever want to play in the rain again. I mean, we look like trash in the rain. I mean, that's just a fact of life at this point in time. Purdy can't throw the ball in the rain. He just can't. He looks bad throwing the ball in the rain. You saw the clip. It was a really cool shot where he was like wiping his hand off in the middle of a play, for Pete's sake. I mean, it's like, what are you doing? But he can't throw the ball in the rain. It's very evident. I don't know why, but his struggles in the rain are really bad. So we need to not play in the rain anymore so that we can be effective. I'm going to stop talking because my voice is terrible.
No, you're good. I can agree. I can't point to a specific thing. If I had to, my first reaction would be that maybe just the anticipatory nature of the playbook, with the rain throwing your timing off because you're second guessing how well you're gripping the ball. I mean, I'm just kind of speculating. Like, no team is great in the rain, but for some reason, I agree. Something about the rain really hurts us more than other teams, because I remember I think the Bills still on one drive in like a half monsoon still threw the ball like 12 times.
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of other things, excuse me, that I liked in that game offensively. Juwan Jennings was great in that game, filling in for Debo. He really showed up and was great. That one catch that he made on third down there, which was an absolute dime by Purdy. So all you Purdy haters that are out there, you can go pound sand. That was a beautiful and fantastic throw that he made there in the clutch.
That touchdown to Kittle too, that had to be a dime, the way that Kittle was running. Like, if that wasn't perfect, that wouldn't have worked either.
40
40
yards on a dot into the bucket while he was on the move. So I think that Kittle and Jennings both stepped up and were great. They're going to have to do that again. Teams are doubling teams are doubling Ayuk on the outside, and he's, rightfully struggling to get open. And we're trying to scheme him open, but we're not having a lot of success with that. So it's going to be up to the guys opposite him to make big plays and make things happen. So good to see Kittle step up, good to see Jennings step up, and that was what we needed.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Like, I'm just trying to think more about, like, yeah, Purdy had those great throws, but I mean, are either of you guys worried going forward about, or was it troubling seeing this footage? I'll put it in that way. Troubling seeing it now, and do you worry that just with the mounting pressure going into an NFC Championship game that Purdy might be a little off step, or do you think the rain was more of a factor, and now that he's gone through this game, okay, now it's just another playoff game and he can like brush it off a little bit? Because I think that's what's going to happen personally. I think it was more of a rain thing.
I mean, yeah, it's, it definitely, that had something to do with it, but
well, and then losing Debo and having to redo the offense on the fly too obviously didn't help.
Yeah, that doesn't help either. But I mean, I'm still hoping that we get to see, the MVP Purdy somewhere in this offseason. You look back to the last offseason, he was okay. He wasn't putting up gaudy numbers, but in this offense, this whole year, he's been putting up gaudy numbers. In this Packers game, due to the rain, he wasn't. So I still question how good he's going to be in the NFC Championship game. He should be good, and we'll go over that, in the next episode. But, there are things that, I'm still concerned about going into the MC champion game with him. And mainly is, is he going to be able to be the passer that we all know he can be, or how bright of lights does he, going to shy away from? Like I still don't think we completely have that yet, because this was a divisional round game. Now the stakes are getting higher. I get it. Last year he didn't get a chance to prove what he could do in that MNC championship game, and I'm not holding that against him, but just based on previous, playoff experience that I've seen with him, I think there's still more to be had by Brock Purdy, that he quite hasn't made it up to that playoff legend status that we want him to be on this team.
You both have commented on this. I'm not going to say which one more than the other, but both of you guys have both made big note that one thing that Purdy never had on his resume was a comeback win, mostly because we were always ahead all the time. And then the Vikings game, he threw a pick. And then the Cleveland one doesn't really get to count because we missed the kick, but he at least got them in the field goal range. So that's more of like a moral victory, which doesn't count. He finally has a comeback win, and he looked awesome on that drive. Thank God the rain didn't happen right then, and it just waited to downpour on Love, which was kind of funny. But no, is there a sense of relief for you two that we've seen Purdy now that how do I want to put this? He lost his comeback virginity finally. Like, he proved he can finally do it.
I mean, I think it says a lot about him. And it was still raining. Oh gosh, I can't speak today. It was still raining when he did make that comeback. I
didn't notice. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it wasn't pouring, but I think it does say a lot about him, the fact that he was able to engineer that comeback, because I mean, by all measures, he hadn't played that well through the first, whatever it was, 3 quarters and 12 minutes of the game, or whatever time it meant to be. But I mean, he shook all of that off like he hadn't played poorly all game long, and came out and made spectacular plays and throws. And in fact, the only incompletion he had was because Kittle dropped the ball. He threw an absolute, we just talked about it, absolute perfect pass to Jennings. He threw an even more impressive pass and a more impressive, very impressive catch to Ayuk on a 3rd down as well. I mean, those were super clutch plays, super clutch throws, and he ran for some yards. He scrambled for some yards as well. So, I mean, he did everything that you could expect and want of a guy to do on a game-tying or game-winning drive.
Yeah, and, he only had CMC punch it in. Like, CMC did not do anything except the actual touchdown.
Yeah, so, I mean, I thought it was great that he just basically shrugged everything else off that had happened in that game and went out and led us on that game-winning drive. I think that speaks a lot to the character that he has. I think it speaks a lot to his mental capabilities in the game. And it gives me a lot of confidence that really, if we're down a score or two, at any point in the game, I think he's going to still be out there slinging the ball and trying to drive us back, which is something that we haven't had in previous years under Jimmy, because Jimmy was, Mr. Checkdown and wasn't ever going to push the ball. So once we were down by 10 points, or heaven forbid 14 points, the game was over, because we just weren't going to be able to score fast enough. Whereas Brock is going to push that ball and try to make things happen. So I was glad to see it. It was a relief off my back. Moody even made a kick in the game when I didn't think he was going to make a kick.
52 yarder, dude.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was
not nothing.
Yeah. And that's not even his career long. His career long throughout high school, I think in high school, was 55.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of really, small nugget takeaways in that game that are good building blocks for going into this next game.
Yeah. And this game still is a good character building game for the team, for sure. To not have played their best and then come out on top, has they've gotten through some adversity here, which is good. And it's good that it happened in the playoffs, and hopefully they keep the momentum going forward. And we'll see at the next step, Purdy in the NFC Championship game again, and hopefully he gets the finish at this time because he just didn't get his chance last year. So I would say this was good for the team, and hopefully they build upon that. Now that they know that they don't, if things aren't going right for them, not everything has to just fall apart and just we end up not playing well. Like, knowing that, hey, we're down, but at any time we can come back. I think that bodes well that this happened now and for the 49ers going further.
Yeah. I mean, when that happened under Jimmy, you could come out, and if Jimmy was having a bad game, it was like, okay, well, we're screwed because we're not going to generate any offense. And no matter how well the defense plays, we're just not going to get anywhere in this game. And you knew it was over from the start. And it kind of shows that doesn't have to be the case now. So it's really promising.
Minus the game that Dan and I went into Green Bay because Jimmy really played like crap. And it was basically the defense and the special teams that won that game.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a real equalizer? Play in 0 degrees with with a real feel of, what was it, James? -5. It was 0 and felt like -5.
No, it was more like 15 felt like 0 or something like that. I think it was felt like 0 or.
Oh no, it was inverted. It was 5 but felt like 0.
Yeah, it was 5 but felt like 0. 5th coldest game in Lambeau history.
It was
no thanks.
That's what I was telling my fiance when we were watching, because she's a trooper. She respects that these games matter a lot to me because it's the playoffs, and God bless her, she's watched every damn one with me. And I was telling her for perspective, like, babe, our game that we went to was 0. Kansas City, I think, what was negative 15.
I thought it was -30, wasn't it?
Did it get that low?
I think it did. Yeah, I think you're right.
It got to -29, -27 wind chill.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. But no, the fact that it was negative anything, I was like, my game was 0. This game is in the negatives. Like, no one, like, and I remember screaming when Pat's helmet broke. I was like, holy earmuffs. I was like, holy shit. And she's like, what? I was like, his helmet snapped.
It's cold when your helmet breaks. That's for sure.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I do want to ask.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask one question that would be kind of a good precursor to not jump ahead, but like to lean into the next episode. Or I guess not really a question now that I'm thinking about it. Have you guys just taken a moment to appreciate that? I'll put it in my perspective. I've only really been following, like, deep hardcore following since 2011, the first year I did fantasy and yada yada. But between 2011 and now, in the span of 12 years, this is our 7th NFC championship. Like, dude, it's not a good win-to-loss ratio. It's 2-6, this one pending. But still, I don't know. I'm just trying to appreciate right now that, like, there's a ton of fans that would kill to be in this position. Like, even if we don't win next Sunday. Like, have you guys taken a moment to think about that? Or
like the Lions? Would the Lions fans take all of that? I think they would.
Dude, was that not beautiful watching Aiden Hutchinson, like, not celebrate, him just looking at the stadium while all the confetti was falling, and just, I don't know. I thought that was really beautiful for them.
Yeah. I mean, I the 49ers, we'll talk, like I said, we should talk about this more in the next episode, but the 49ers should absolutely dominate Detroit, but Detroit's just feisty.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
So that's just the thing. Like, if you look at the numbers, I mean, Detroit does have a good offense, but their defense is bad. And if if you were just looking at this on paper and just looking at defenses versus offenses and things like that, I think the 49ers should be able to wipe the floor with them. But is that going to happen? I don't know. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
See what I think.
Yeah.
Well, Eric, I guess more is it? I don't know. Am I weird for just wanting to soak that in for a moment, or have you soaked that in, being the tenured Niner fan like I am?
Thanks. Yeah, tenured old, you mean?
Longer than James. That's all I meant. I picked a poor choice of words there, and I apologize.
So, no, that's okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a spectacular feeling. I mean, to have some sustained success over that number of years, it's fun and it's enjoyable. But it's also, as you pointed out, to the 2-6 record or whatever it is, it's also, frustrating to get so close, many times and multiple times over, but never really get, to the Super Bowl. And then, the couple of times that we have got to the Super Bowl, we haven't won them either. So, it's been kind of a double-edged sword, right? Excuse me. You really enjoy the success, but it's sort of kind of, deflating at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, but it's not like you haven't lost to like really good teams. It's not like losing to the Buccaneers, the Carolina Panthers, and the Arizona Cardinals in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
Literally 3 franchises that before they played us had never been to the Super Bowl. So like I know the heartache of going through championship games, but you guys in losing in the Super Bowl and stuff like that. But I mean,
until you guys broke the streak, anybody who beat us in the playoffs won the Super Bowl. So thank you for snapping that streak last year. We gave you the free pass to win it, and
yeah, I just I know what the frustration is like, going through, so many championship games and losing them. We went to 4 in a row. We lost to the eventual Super Bowl champion twice. And we lost to an expansion team, 2 expansion teams, and and the Arizona Cardinals, who haven't won a championship since the Pottsville Maroons. So like that is bad. I think I could handle losing to championship teams more, but I don't know. I think you're right. I think it should be appreciated. Looking back on my time as an Eagles fan and just what it was like to go through those times, and always every single year for 4 years, I had the excitement of watching an NFC Championship game with my team in it, and those years I had never experienced up until that point. And I watched, the Andy Reid area. They went to 5 NFC Championship games, which, that's probably, if you look back on Eagles football, the most historic glory time that we've had, even with Doug Peterson winning the Super Bowl. That was like 1 year. I mean, we've never had that same sustained success really since. We've been through 3 coaches, and yeah.
It took us less than 15 years to have 2 3-peat visits to the NFC Championship game. Like, as I thought of that earlier, I was just like, I don't know. I was just like, God damn, it didn't even take. Some franchises don't even have 3 visits to the conference championship, and we've had 7 in less than 15 years. Like,
yeah, and I mean they bookended.
Not to step on you, Eric. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. No, that's fine. They bookended a pile of crap in the middle too, like the Chip Kelly years. So I mean, we had the Harbaugh years where things were good and we played well, and then we went through this just horrible trough of Chip Kelly and Trent Baalke running the franchise, and just a disaster for like 3 or 4 years. And then we brought in John and Kyle and went whoop, back up on the upswing. So it's been a nice ride to be a part of. Certainly enjoying as a fan.
I will say this. If you would have told me in 1995 that the Lions would make it to the NFC Championship game before the Cowboys would again, I would have laughed in your face.
Yeah.
but that's just, yeah.
Dude, if this was any other year, I'd be cheering for Jared. Like, if it wasn't us, I'd be cheering so loud for Jared. I'm so happy for him after the way he got shafted by LA. I mean, really, like when the fists come out, like, no, of course I'm cheering for us, but no, this is an awesome matchup because, I mean, I'll cheer my head off for Jared if they do beat us on Sunday, but even though they beat us,
No.
Yeah, the AFC Championship. I wish they both lost. I don't want the AFC to win this year, regardless.
If the Niners lose this next game, the Super Bowl is dead to me. I won't give a crap who plays, who wins, just nothing. I'll just watch for the commercials. That's all that I'll care about. I just
The commercials and Usher.
You'll bet on it. Come on, you'll bet on it.
Yes, of course I'll bet on it.
So it's not dead
otherwise.
to you.
Well,
You'll put in a couple of wagers.
yeah.
We got to see the odds on.
I already have wagers on this coming weekend.
We got to see the odds if Usher's going to announce he's pregnant or not.
Yeah. So, I did want to give one last point before we wrap. I don't know when we're wrapping, but
we need to wrap this episode.
I thought that Ward should have gotten a game ball for the game, and not because he did have the one play where he knocked the ball away to prevent a touchdown. But just because he completely shut down that side of the field. In watching that game, they didn't throw his way or his direction at all in that game. They did
once when he fell.
Yeah, well, okay, yeah. But other than that, they didn't go his way at all. So I think that was amazing and bodes well for this coming week if he's truly able to shut down an entire side of the field again. That just does so much in terms of what we can do coverage wise. If we can just put him man on man on St. Brown, who he should follow around all over the field. And rotate and help Thomas on the other side. But kudos to him for just shutting the door on that complete side of the field. I thought that was spectacular.
He should have been first team over Sauce. There, I said it.
He should have been.
Other than the time he fell, you're right. He completely locked down the right side of the field. And I'm so happy we signed him last year. But I think with that, that's a good final pin for this episode before tomorrow, where we will dive more deeply, specifically into the Lions. This was a little bit of a scare, but a victory nonetheless. And we need to talk about our sponsor now, who's been with us the entire season, RoyalRetros.com. What is Royal Retros? It is your go-to place to get an authentic throwback jersey. 49ers fans, they have a candlestick collection right now that is curated of just Bay Area sports, obviously Niners related, but there's some Giant stuff in there if you're a baseball fan too. But yeah, once you find something you like, throw it into your cart, and when you check out, put in the promo code Shady Sports and get 10% off of your entire order. Again, it's promo code Shady Sports for 10% off your order. And tell all your friends and family about Royal Retros as well. They got basketball, baseball, hockey. They cover all the major sports, not just football. But again, once you get something you like, promo code Shady Sports for 10% off of your order at RoyalRetros.com. Go get yourself an authentic throwback jersey today. James, let the people know about our charity.
Well, guys, before we start with the charity, I want to make sure you guys pay attention because we will have some big news shortly, most likely coming about this campaign. So please pay attention to Twitter as we roll out the next phase of our plan with this charity. But the reason why we are doing this charity is to raise awareness that owner standards are less than player standards, because recently in the news, we've had owners behaving badly. One being a Houston Texans minority owner who was charged with very serious sexual crimes in Kentucky. And then also Jed York, the own COO of the 49ers, was implicated in an insider trading scandal with a company that was helping students cheat during the pandemic. Now, why do we care? Well, if this was the player, we would know before an arrest warrant was even served. or charged. Yet with these owners, the NFL knew for months to years and said nothing and was like, don't ask, don't tell. So we don't like that. So we are trying to start the hashtag owner standards or less than player standards, hashtag owner accountability. And to show you we put our money where our mouth is, we are selling t-shirts to help a Kentucky Crisis Center. Right here is our statement. Owner standards are less than player standards, hashtag owner accountability. $22.99 get you that in a t-shirt. We have different colors, different styles, different sizes. Next, we have our owner standoff shirt. Heads up, guys, this one may be coming off the market soon. So if you want it, you're going to have to get it now shortly because this could be off in 2 weeks. So get it while you can. $22.99 get you that in a t-shirt, different styles, different sizes. Now we have our podcast logo art. You'll see this on our profile, on our Twitter page, YouTube channel, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you listen to us. You can get that on a t-shirt. $22.99 gets you that in a t-shirt, or different styles, different sizes. Now we have our alternate logo. I have this shirt, very nice quality. You can get that in different colors. $22.99 starts that at a tee. We have different sizes and different styles as well. And then finally, our Niner Nuts mascot. How can you say no to a peanut eating peanuts while sitting on the couch cheering for his San Francisco 49ers? $22.99. Donate to a Kentucky Crisis Center today.
Had a little trigger finger there. I didn't mean to pull it off that fast.
Yes.
But yeah, like James said, we don't want any money from these shirts. We just want you to have a cool shirt while you're helping out a family. Link in the show notes. Go check it out. We will have an announcement about our efforts here in the next couple episodes. With that, the only bit of news that I have is that Debo did not break anything in his shoulder, at least while we're taping today on the 22nd. There's no structural damage or breaks, but he is very, very sore still. I wonder why. He had 3 people fall on you. But so his status is 50-50. I guess we'll dive a little bit. That'll be part of what we dive more deeply into in tomorrow's episode. But at least as of right now, it's not broken. And then the other thing I'll just close off with is just James, you weren't here last week for it, but just continued prayers to Jim Irsay. Hopefully he's improving. I haven't heard anything specifically, but yeah, no, just the fact that he's been in the hospital this long. Hopefully he bounces back. So I just wanted to send some more thoughts and prayers out to him and his family. You guys got anything to add on?
Nope.
There's really nothing happening in the world right now. I mean, the Lions signed Ertz today, so I mean, take that for whatever it means.
Yeah,
that's true. I don't think he'll be more than a run blocker personally, and maybe a red zone target. But
I know he may score a touchdown that we review in this and say if that's a catch, Des is a catch. Who knows?
Right. Right. Yes. Well, then, guys, with that, we will be back tomorrow with a deep dive into specifically facing the Lions. And yeah, our game is Sunday at 6:30 on Fox again. So if you don't catch us tomorrow or Friday, we'll catch you Sunday. Beat the Lions.
Outro music, River Road, Justin Muth.
River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long. River Road, where have all the women gone? Have they kissed her hand and waved you bye-bye? Have they thought about crossing your double yellow lines? River Road, they love the way you whine and cry.